listening to Experience the Edge with Sybil. I am Sybil, and if you are just tuning in, you are just in time for the Brand Edge segment, where I talk about what it's like to build a sustainable and lasting brand. Now, today's conversation actually stemmed from a conversation I was having with a client. And she said, Sybil, I want rapid growth. And I asked her this question: what happens if 100 customers show up tomorrow? Are you ready? And she paused and she looked at me and she smiled. And I said, exactly. You see, so often we want the visibility, we want the recognition, but really we don't have the systems in place to make sure that our brand stands the test of time. And maybe for you, it's not 100 customers. Maybe for you, it's 1,000. Maybe for you, it's 5 or 10. Whatever that number is that would max you out of your capacity, are you ready for that when you build? If not, this is the episode you need to be listening to. You see, what I've learned throughout the years is you don't rise to the level of your marketing or your brand. You actually fall to the level of your systems. And for me, branding is an operations. Branding is about systems. So I want you to picture this for a second. Your latest post or your latest reel or that thing that you signed up for, that podcast you're booking, whatever it is, finally gets that feature that you were looking for. You're getting the recognition you want. And suddenly the floodgates are open. People are DMing, calling, email, trying to book you. Now pause. Are you actually ready for them? I remember watching an episode of somebody do a podcast and they had hit the big screen. Okay, I'm talking, they were on Oprah's sofa, they're on NBC, they're on all of the things. So how did they end up on the smaller podcast? And I remember what they said. They said, I was not ready. I did not know what that level of recognition would bring for me, and I didn't know how to sustain it. So let's talk about sustaining your brand while you're getting ready and building something that's going to last. You see, most people confuse having that brand visibility with business readiness, and they're just not the same. Building a brand is one thing. Building a business with a powerful brand that's ready to take on a global economy is another. You can have an amazing logo, some cute websites, and a social presence. But if you don't have a clear branded system to fulfill your responsibility to your clients as they're coming in, if you don't have a repeatable and smart client experience that is going to grow with you while you increase your capacity, you are just not ready. And in my edge, my brand edge, this is where I talk about where the guardrails meet the experience. You see, so often I hear women say, I just need more leads. Well, be careful, because when those leads start coming in, more eyes are going to expose the cracks in your system and what's not working behind the scenes. So for you listening out there today, if 100 people booked you this week, what would you do? Are you able to onboard them smoothly? Do you have a process to make sure that every single touch point is met and branded and unique to you? Do you have a scheduling system? Do you have a payment system? Is your accounting system set up? Do you have legal in place? Somebody is going to say that you overcharged them. Could you find their information when it's time to call them back? Do you have a solid communication system in place? All of this is your brand. And if you've not thought about these components in your brand and in your system, now's the time to start thinking about it. Ready-made brands have 3 things in place, okay? They have a clear customer pathway from the first time you say hello to post-delivery. And I say post-delivery because so often we think that once the sales transaction has been made and goods and services are exchanged, that's it. But good business knows that repeat customers are your best customers. So do you have something from the time they say hello to you and you say hello to them beyond the sales process, beyond the first time you fulfill, so that they become a repeat customer, so that they become a brand ambassador? If not, think about how you can build that. The second thing that ready brands have is a backup plan. Life be lifing, y'all, okay? Shipments get delayed. Weather happens. Meetings are missed. You're going to get sick. You might want to have a vacation. Clients have things happen to them. Do you have a backup plan for your client engagement when life really starts lifing? What this might look like for you is different than it looks like for me. For example, when I got sick a couple of weeks ago, I knew that I had already booked all of my clients in advance, and all it took was one automated email for me to shift everybody 1 week with my sincerest apologies. What this also looks like for me is bulk ordering my books so that every time I'm ready to onboard a new person, all I have to do is go on my bookshelf, and guess what? The books are already pre-signed because I took a day and I literally wrote handwritten notes inside the cover of all of my books. So all I have to do is put the books in the mail. And just in case something happens with that weather, I have digital copies ready. How well will your system function when things go wrong and do? And then the third thing ready-made brands have are boundaries to protect your peace. And not only to protect your peace, but to protect your brand. Let's just say you do have 100 people ready to go, ready to buy from you, and you know you can't fulfill. What are you going to do? Are you going to turn 90 people away? Are you going to quickly increase? Are you going to destroy your peace for sake of money? These are the real decisions that business leaders need to start thinking about. I remember the first time I had an influx in business, and I nearly shut down mentally. For me, my magic number is 12. Because I only work one-on-one. That 13th client I now know will tear up my systems, break me down, and cause me to provide a less than best client experience. So this is really important to not only know your boundaries, but also your numbers. If you know what your personal capacity is, if you're a high-end bespoke service provider, or maybe you know you have a limited supply of something, be prepared to communicate that. There's nothing wrong with saying, I have a wait list, or I will be able to service you in 3 months. Would you like to go ahead and put a small deposit down to hold your date? As a matter of fact, that's a great position to be in as a business owner. So I want to wrap us up right now and say, think through what happens when, because that's living with expectancy. What happens when 100 or 1,000 customers show up tomorrow? Are you going to buckle under the pressure, or are you going to rise to the challenge? Now, if this is you and you have weathered that storm of having people storm your door down, I would love to hear from you. So feel free to DM me at Sybil S. Stewart on all of the socials. That's SYBILSSTEWART. Would love to hear from you and how you manage your first influx of clients. Stay tuned and we will be right back. Experience the Edge with Sybil. Do you need exposure for your business, brand, or organization? If so, let Experience the Edge with Sybil radio show help you fulfill your need for more exposure, more business, and return on investment. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn at Sybil S. Stewart today. That's SYBILSSTEWART. Welcome back to Experience the Edge with Sybil. I am Sybil, and if you are just joining me, now is the time to talk about how to build wealth. And today's question for you is, can you and will you make more behind the scenes? And the short answer is yes. Now, I know it's going to ruffle some feathers because after all, most people are telling you right now to be in business, you need to be in front of the mic, center stage. You need the moment, the feature, the applause. We live in a world that is completely obsessed with the next video going viral, right? You've got to get featured in Forbes. You've got to get on TikTok. You need to be omnipresent across all channels. But visibility does not equal value, and it certainly does not mean you're getting paid. Just because people see you does not mean they're paying you. That means they're paying attention to you in those moments. Just because you're booked and busy does not mean you're building a lasting and sustainable brand. I know so many speakers out here who are still taking a large part of unpaid speaking events. And you see them all over socials, flying across the U.S., speaking here and there, only to find out that they are largely unpaid experiences and stages. And they get home to bills that are piling up. They come back home trying to figure out what to do next. So let's be real. A lot of people look successful on paper or on social media, but if they stopped posting tomorrow, the money would stop too. If they got sick or tired or had to step away, there's no system holding them back up, no infrastructure for them to lean on, no assets. And that, my friends, is the grind. You see, so often we are sold this idea that sleep money is passive, right? Like we can do that passive income thing. But where the real money is, the real profit is building up that passive income. That means you got to be active on the front end. And I think that's why so many founders and creatives and thought leaders avoid doing the back end stuff, is because it's not glamorous. It's not quick. It doesn't give us the dopamine rush that we are often chasing as entrepreneurs. It doesn't give you that visibility or that next microphone for you to showcase how awesome you are, right? Like there's no ego in the background. And so often we've been taught and told to be positioned as the talent and not the owners. Just look at your favorite sports team, right? They've been sold this visibility gig, but the real money is in the ownership. They'll want us in front of the cameras, but not in the budget meeting. They'll let us headline an event, but not own the platform. You see, we live in a world that celebrates our image, but forgets the infrastructure that has to be built. So if this is you, God does not want you to just perform. He wants you to produce. He wants you to be in purpose, and he wants you to expand and multiply. Okay? So when we think about where the power actually is and the profit is, it is all behind the scenes. And I looked at some of my favorite people that I have studied, and these are in no specific order. And this is independent of how you feel about the people, right? This is just basic economics. Take, for example, Beyonce. She doesn't just sing her songs. She owns the masters to her songs. She understood her industry. That means she gets paid every single time her songs are used or sampled or streamed. She formed Parkward Entertainment just to manage her creative control, to make sure she is responsible and gets, income from her tour productions, any films, merchandising, and etc. So she's just not her own talent. She's the executive behind how she's showing up. Let's look at Oprah, for example, whose career spans over 40 years. So yeah, she was hosting the Oprah Winfrey Show, but she also created Harpo Productions. She has the OWN network. So she owns the rights to her show and everything produced under that umbrella. And those decisions are what turned her from a millionaire host to a billionaire. A lot of people ask me, Sybil, why did you rename your business? I said, because I knew Sybil Media would be the umbrella that all of my other brands fall under. So ask yourself, is that the type of thinking you've got? Are you building an umbrella, or are you building one product? I look at the same thing with Tyler Perry, right? He was rejected by formal Hollywood, so he went to writing his own plays, and now he has the studio in Atlanta, which is one of the largest production studios in the U.S. He controls the property, the scripts. He decides who's casting, the syndication. He, controls, he's the director, the producer, the singer, the songwriter. He is doing it all. He owns the entire lot. I was even talking with someone about Taylor Swift, right? She re-recorded her entire music catalog after her old label sold the rights to her original masters because she wanted to control her voice. Ladies, your voice is your power. Because she did that, and her fans backed her, she is now one of the wealthiest singer-songwriters, etc. as well. Okay? Ownership means leverage. It means you're no longer selling your time. You are building equity into yourself that is going to pay off longer than it would if you keep taking the stage. And you all know I believe in being on stage, right? Like, we do have to build visibility, but we also need to build behind the scenes. And what's practical is the behind the scenes work, like creating your own signature framework and licensing it out and protecting your IP. Don't just own your talk, but every time you give a presentation, are you putting it in your contract that people cannot reuse the video recording underneath their own labels? Are you repackaging your past projects into digital assets? Do you retain usage rights for your video content? Are you producing events instead of trying to figure out how to show up at other people's? Do you hire people so you can scale? Are you partnering with brands and then learning how to do affiliate partnerships? It's about thinking like a producer and not a just participant. Okay? It's about thinking like an entity and not just one component of it. It's about building an ecosystem that reinforces itself so that when one thing falls off, there's something else to back it up. You see, what I've learned over the course of these years is if I always have to show up on camera to get paid, then I don't have a business. What I have is a very demanding job. What I have, if I'm not getting paid to speak, is community service. So I'll ask you again, will you make more behind the scenes? I'm going to say the answer is a resounding yes. And if you want to learn more about brand structure, ownership, and building a system that's going to pay you beyond the spotlight, I challenge you to check me out at www.sybylstewart.com or DM me on all the socials, Sybil S. Stewart. Stay tuned and we'll be right back. back to Experience the Edge with Sybil. I'm Sybil, and let's jump into sustainability. Now, today I am targeting an industry that I have a love-hate relationship with, and that is the wedding industry. So I have been consulting and working within the wedding industry for about 20 years now. And there's just some things that I think we could just do a touch better. Okay, ladies, if you are planning your wedding, if you work in the wedding industry in that field, I think we can all agree people are tired of party favors, right? It's so wasteful. And I know brides and grooms spend a whole lot of money on perfecting the perfect favor, but no one's going to remember that mini salt and pepper shaker that you gave them at the wedding. The kids might play with the bubbles that day, but as kids do, they're going to forget that you gave them the bubbles at the end of the wedding. And there are just some things that could just not only lower the cost for the bride and groom, but also still be able to create that experience and still protect the environment. So I get on this soap horse, not that I'm getting married, but because I'm performing for a wedding in a couple of days. And I was thinking about all of the things that go into perfecting a wedding. And I have been in touch with the wedding planner. And of course, it's a joyous occasion, but weddings are really hard on the environment and they're hard on the bank account, if we can all be honest. I think the average cost of a wedding now is like $40,000 or $50,000. So just let that one sit a little bit. And so if I can save somebody some money, some grief, some time, and keep the wedding industry thoughtful about protecting the environment, then I'm going to do that, right? Like everything should be twofold. And I thought about some of the areas of waste in the wedding industry, and it comes down to things like centerpieces, party favors, and that sort of thing, right? Things that really are not going to keep time, things that you cannot use more than once. I even think about how much food is wasted when weddings do buffets. And y'all, I'm going to do a whole segment on the buffet industry. If you ever know me, you know I do not like going to a buffet. I think it's so wasteful on so many fronts. And as somebody who has worked in food and bev, like growing up, I just remember how much food we would toss away, like food that could be eaten, but for the fact that it's not allowed to be reserved and all of these other things. And so that aside, I'll do that for another segment. These are some of the areas that we can consider being more sustainable in. And so if you are in the wedding consulting field, if this is the thing that you do, I would love for you to weigh in. How are you helping your clients not only do some cost savings, but also create those experiences and, of course, save the planet? And mine is definitely wedding flowers. I think flowers are absolutely gorgeous. I love fresh flowers, but nobody wants to be forced to take your centerpieces home at the end of your wedding, right? That's not a party favor. That's them doing you a favor so that you don't toss away these flowers. And another one, and I saw this idea as I was getting ready for the show. You know, Big Brother is always watching and listening. And so as I was preparing for this show, all of a sudden I am getting wedding gown, ads all over the place. And I'm getting sustainably created engagement ring ads. But then as I was about to log off, here came this very clever wedding favor feed that I thought was so cute. And this couple decided to take all of the mugs and shot glasses, that sort of thing, that they had collected throughout their journey of dating. And those were the favors. Now, here's why I love this. Number one, I am a minimalist. And if I can get rid of one more thing out of my house, I am going to do it. But number two, what a great idea to share your story and gift somebody something you know you're not going to use ever in life. You are never going to drink through all 50 of those mugs. You're never going to take shots out of all 100 of those shot glasses. Let them serve a purpose for somebody else and put a little tag on it. I thought it was so cute. You wrap your name around it. You handwrite here's a mug from me to you, or mug shot or something like that, right? It was just so clever, so cute. And again, eco-friendly and responsible. So for my wedding planners out there, how are you helping your brides and grooms create those memorable experiences without breaking the bank? How are you making sure to put sustainability at the forefront of your business where it's not costing you anything, and in fact it's probably saving you a lot of planning time and energy, saving the environment, and of course helping the bride and groom have that amazing experience that they want to have. Y'all, that is it. Like I said, I'm not hating on the wedding industry. I have been consulting in the wedding industry for about 20 years now. I have done everything from bridal dresses to event planning, you name it, working on the catering side. I know the ins and out of this industry, and like I said, it's one of the most wasteful industries, and so that just means it's got room to grow. All right, we will be right back after this. If you are a budding bride, congratulations. Go ahead and drop me a line. I would love to shout you out on the next show. See you after this. Thank you for tuning in to Experience the Edge with Sybil on WDRB Media. Here's Sybil with your brand tip of the week. Hey listeners, think you need to update that logo? Maybe not. Remember, your logo is not your brand. Your brand is a memory. People remember how you made them feel, not necessarily your color palette. If your experience isn't clear, then the brand isn't either. Make sure the delivery of your brand promise matches who you are, what you stand for, and how you work. Welcome back to Experience the Edge with Sybil. I am so excited to have Crystal Petrie, the amazing Crystal Petrie, join me for the Stage Builder section of this show. Crystal, how are you today?
I'm so good, Sybil. Thank you so much for allowing me space on your platform. I'm excited.
I am as well because so I just want to jump in and say I
Okay.
was so happy that, well, happy, pleased, all of the things that you would invite me onto your platform. And I just don't think we do that enough. We are what my coach calls the best kept secret. So as a fellow stage builder, why did you decide to do podcasting?
That is an excellent question, Sybil. So, the name of my podcast, the Crystal Petrie Podcast, my background is in media.
Mhm.
Television, broadcast media. I am no longer in that space, obviously, but it's still a space that is very near and dear to my heart. It's still a space that I absolutely love participating in and growing in and learning in. And I am also like, I consider myself the ultimate learner. I'm always reading. Like, I feel like I'm the last person that actually reads handheld books. Like, I love the feel of the pages. Oh, you are too. Excellent. So it's us too, Sybil. It's us
We're
too.
the last two at the Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, when I'm not able to like read my handheld books, I'm normally in my car listening to a podcast. I mean, I feel like everyone lives in their vehicles these days, so I'm listening to a podcast. And I would have to go to so many different platforms to listen and learn depending on what I was interested in that moment or that day.
Right.
And one day I was just venting to like just a bunch of different people, friends and coworkers and just people I knew in the community. Like, and it's such a 21st century problem, Sybil. I know this. It's a 21st century problem. But I was like, I am so exhausted with going to like 10 different platforms to listen and learn, depending on what I want to listen and learn to. And so everybody around me was like, I know, like, I hate doing that. And, so we were all kind of like venting, but we were all like in agreement that this was an issue. And you know what they say when there's an, issue, create something to get rid of the issue. And that's what I did. So I created my podcast and I'm in my third season now. And the podcast brings together the two things that I love: media and learning. And the podcast is all about education. And you are going to be on my podcast. I'm so excited about that. So all of my guests come on to the Crystal Petrie podcast to educate me and educate my community about a specific topic. Because if
Yeah.
we're honest, everyone is just living in their bubble. And there's nothing wrong with that. But because we all live in our bubble, myself included, there's so much going on in the world, in the city, and our communities around us that we have no idea about, that we haven't learned about, we haven't heard about, whatever that situation looks like for you. So I brought all of those things together and created the platform, the stage that is the Crystal Preacher Podcast.
That's amazing. Um, I know I work with a lot of clients
Mhm.
on they want to do the podcast, they want to do the stage, they want to figure out how to use their voice, but they are very apprehensive. They don't know what to post, they don't know when to do it or what, all of those things. Help them out as a
Okay.
fellow podcaster, stage builder. Help them out. How easy was it for you to get that podcast started, and how has it been, especially now you're in season 3?
Right. I will say that yes, it was easy to get it started, but I have had several bumps in the road
Yeah,
since the start of it. To I would advise your listeners, Sybil, that if you want to do a podcast, number one, just do it. Okay. Like, don't talk yourself out of it. The longer
just
you wait, the less likely it is that you will start it.
yeah.
When you decide to start the podcast, this is like advice that I give everyone who speaks to me about wanting to start a podcast. Your idea or your foundation of your podcast needs to be evergreen, meaning that whatever it is that you want to talk about on your podcast needs to be something that will not die, something
Yeah,
that will not get old or grow stale. It needs to be something that will continuously grow and evolve. And with my topic of education, that topic is never going to grow old or grow stale. And it will always be evolving because education and learning is always evolving.
yeah,
And I can specifically have so many episodes and speak with so many amazing people about different topics within the framework of education. So
right.
that would be, I guess, my second advice. So my first advice is just do it, like Nike said, just do it. My second advice would be find your topic that you love, that you're not going to grow bored of, that is evergreen, that you can continue to grow with. The topic can continue to grow. Like, for example, mine is education. Cooking is something that's never going to go away. Technology is something that's never going to go away. Um, Fatherhood, motherhood, marriage, like these are topics that are probably never going to go away, that
Yeah,
you can grow on and expand on. So that's, my two top things. And
yeah.
like some of the areas where I messed up and was figuring out the length of each episode. And
Mm-hmm.
that really comes down to the community.
Mm-hmm.
Is the community staying engaged for however long your episode is? How often do you want to post? That's another like difficult topic. How often do you want to post your podcast? How long do you want each episode to be? And also, you have to make, and I'm gonna use customer because it
Right.
describes, my guest the best to my ability. You have to make the customer experience the best that you can. Because understand, people are super busy, Sybil. They have lives, they have jobs, they have friends, they have kids and husbands and wives and all these other things. So you have to make their experience enjoyable, and you have to make it seamless,
Yeah,
meaning that it doesn't feel like they're having to go out of their way or completely rearrange their life just to come on and do a podcast with you. So those things I learned, early on. And it
Yes.
took a while for me to get my routine down, figure out how often I wanted to post, figure out how long I wanted each episode to be, and even figure out the framework of each podcast. Because even though, and Sybil, of course, you can attest to this, it may look like we're just on here talking, but we're really not. Like there's a process, there's questions and things that have to happen and be accomplished for a podcast to be actualized.
Absolutely. Everything you just said there is, do you know your brand? Do you know how you want to represent your brand? And how are people taking in your brand? Like
Yes,
everything you just said is, how long am I going to talk? If you're known as a speaker, you need to have a speaker for it platform, right? And one of the things that I try to tell people all the time is I did write a book, but like I could write another book, I could write a newspaper, but if I'm telling people I'm a speaker, my stage needs to be me talking.
absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
the same thing is true as you're saying for your podcast. Like, know who you are, know who your target audience is, and know what they need from you.
Yes.
And if they need education from you, then you need to be very learned about your topic of interest. You can't come up there
Right.
half shot because that's also a part of the client experience. Um, and then, of course, in the client experience, how easy are you making it for people to book with you, stay with you, follow you, share? All of that is a part of the process. I went through my own learning curve too, child. It's it's
And
okay.
it's part of it. It's part of the
It-
process. It's part of the journey.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Um, so you are a podcaster, and I wanted to touch on this one as well. Is how is being a stage builder, being obedient to the call that you have on your life? Because I don't think everybody wants to build a stage, but I think there are some people that do. Bless you.
Thank you. Um, So I always love telling this story. Before I made the firm commitment to start the podcast, and this was after I had did all my venting and my friends and all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Because I am a Christian, I do receive and hear the word of God. Now, if you are not a Christian or you have not had that experience,
yeah,
it's difficult to explain. So I'm not even going to try and explain it on this platform. But um, God spoke to me and told me to start the podcast, to start the platform.
yeah,
Immediately, and I'm just going to speak for myself, Sybil, immediately as I do, I was like, I can't do that. You know, like who's going to want to talk to me? Who's going to want to come on my platform and talk to me and, tell me they're live and tell me like heartbreak? Like I've had amazing people come on my podcast, Sybil, and tell me amazing things, tell me heartbreaking things, be
yeah,
very open, be very vulnerable,
yeah,
be very emotionally available and open on my podcast. They've told me stuff and shared stuff with me that if I were in their case, I probably would not have said.
right,
So, I'm having this conversation with God and I'm saying, no one's going to want to come on this podcast. No one's going to want to talk to me. And like, what equipment do I need to even start a pod? Like, how do I do this? I just had so many questions.
yeah,
And so, the Spirit of God was heavy with on me with this, like, start this podcast, do this. And so I was like, well, who's going to talk to me? Like I know a lot of people, we all know a lot of people, but just
right,
because you know a lot of people don't mean they're going to hop on, a podcast and tell you their dark, deep secrets or their dark, deep success stories,
right,
to you and to millions of strangers on the internet.
right,
And then God put in a person that I had been knowing. His name is Joe Evans Jr. and said, contact Joe, like literally. And again, I am a Christian.
Yes.
And if you are not, this part of the conversation is probably going to sound weird and awkward, and I don't believe it, but
Yeah.
this is an actual thing that happened to me. He gave me the name, he gave me the person, and I reached out to him thinking Joe's going to say no. Like, still in doubt, but I'm still being obedient to what God is telling me to do. So
Yes.
I sent a message to Joe Evans Jr. and I was like, hey, I want to do this thing. Like, I didn't have the vernacular podcast at that time. I was like, hey, I want to do this thing where I sit down and interview you and talk to you, and you teach me and educate me about, particular topic or whatever. And he immediately responded and he was like, I would love to. I would love to. And Sybil, when I tell you I was shocked, now I shouldn't have been shocked, because if God is telling you to do something, then he has already
Mm.
created the way. He
Yeah.
already, went ahead of you. And I know this. But Joe was like, yeah, he was like, I can tell through the message, he was excited. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Almost like with an expectancy. When I start reaching out to people, it's almost like, oh, I've been waiting for you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
Sybil.
Yes.
So, okay, I'm like, okay, I have a guest, Sybil. I don't have equipment. I don't have a place to do the podcast. Like all the things that we talked about earlier. I don't know how long the podcast is going to be. I just know that it's going to be education based. I didn't have any of the other stuff, but I had the guests and I could not believe it. But obviously, everything came together so seamless.
Mhm.
And Joe Evans Jr. was the very first guest I had on my podcast. And people normally ask, who's your favorite guest?
Yeah.
You've been doing this 2 seasons or 3 seasons, whatever. Who's your favorite guest? And I always say Joe Evans Jr. is my favorite guest. He was my first guest, and he was the guest that took a chance on me, Sybil, and
Yeah.
he was the guest that was an answered prayer.
Wow. That is, I think that's a great way to wrap up this section of the interview. My goodness, that is for those listening out here, not only ask God, but take action
Yes,
so that it's already been done,
yes.
and then go post the thing, go do the thing, go
Go
show
do
up
it.
yourself, because the answer's already in the question. Like God knew you were going to ask that question before he even answered.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll be right back with Experience the Edge. Thank you all for staying tuned and listening.
Welcome back to Experience the Edge with Sybil. Here is Sybil with Ask Sybil. All right, ladies. So this one came in from a client of mine. And during our meeting, she said, Sybil, I feel all over the place. I don't feel like I have any systems. I know I'm doing calls, but I don't feel confident. So when she said she has no systems and she's doing calls and she's making invitations, the real question was, why are you doing those things and to what end? Whenever I hear a business owner say they feel all over the place, that lets me know that they don't have a system. Not only do they not have a system, but they don't understand how the energy flows, why they're doing the specific work they're doing, and what needs to be handled either through automation or through the support of someone else. They are working so hard inside their business that they're forgetting that they have to take a strategic lens to the business itself. And so if this is you and you are feeling all over the place in your business, I want to say to you, number one, I've been there, but number two, there are some really great solutions that you can think about to help you get yourself on your way. Number one, what system do you need to build the most? That is the most powerful question any business person can ask themselves. But the thing is this, a system that you need specifically for your business may not be the same system somebody else is going to need for their business. And so often coaches and consultants will give you like a carbon copy version of the systems they have because it works for them and their personality. So ask yourself, what's the number one system I need to build? And how is it going to function with what I already do well? For example, I love a good SOP. So I knew when I started building systems, the first system I was going to build had to do with something about SOPs because I like writing things down. I have laminated copies of all of my SOPs. Yes, y'all already know I'm a paper lover, but that was one way I knew I could build a system that I was going to use, one that I could trust myself with, and one that was very practical for how I take in information. What did not work for me were digital dashboards or Notions or Google Sheets, that sort of thing. But if you love a digital workflow, then maybe that's the one system you can create. The second thing that I recommend doing, and I to this day do this, and this was actually advice that I got from one of my very first business coaches, is plan your calendar 1 year in advance and then put your system to that. Because planning your calendar is part of the system. Some of the things that you're probably feeling all over the place about could be resolved if you had a bird's eye view of what you intended to do and when you intend to do it. And so what this looks like for me in big practice is every quarter I set aside a day and a half where I turn off the email, I put out my out of office, and I spend time in planning mode. And I decide right then what system I need to use, what system I stopped using, but I need to figure out why I stopped using it, and then what needs to be replaced or what should not be in my system at all. And this is one of those habits that it's really hard to get into, especially if you are a small business owner or a solopreneur, because every day does equal dollars. But this planning time, I highly recommend that you do it and that you guard it with your life, because your ability to take a step back and think about your business is going to make the difference between everything you do next. The third thing, the third thing I recommend is think about how you can do one process really well for your clients. Don't try to lift up every single process. I know so many entrepreneurs who try to figure out all of the processes for the onset and they don't even have clients yet. Figure out what one process is going to help lead to you creating another process and another process and another process. That way you're building something in real time without overwhelming yourself on having to perfect it. A great example of this is if you are focused really heavily on cold calling, for example, like my client was. Do you have a very specific workflow, a very specific process that will guide you through your cold calling? Do you have scripts? Do you have objection sheets? Do you have a workflow for how you're going to manage those cold calls internally? Are you able to repeat that process over and over again so that you become the automation? Are you able to automate some of those practices? So these are the things that I think about when I hear somebody say, I feel all over the place. The last thing is this. If you feel all over the place, take time to journal. I think we limit ourselves when we don't write things down. And you all know I write everything down. I've got several journals, but the act of journaling will get things out of your mind and onto paper so that it can breathe. Journaling gives you a chance to meditate over what it is you're thinking and doing and contemplating. Journaling helps you have your own second set of eyes on what you intend to do next. What I've learned about journaling is it helps relieve some of that stress and anxiety around making decisions. And because of how I journal, I have 3 different journals, which at the onset might feel a little excessive, but walk with me here. I've got one that helps me process my emotions, right? Because being an entrepreneur will put you on an emotional journey you have never really even thought about or considered. So I have one where I process my emotions. I have another one that's my planning journal. When God gives me divine downloads and I know I can't action on each and every single thing that he wants me to do right then, there is a journal for that. And that's literally my ideas notebook. From every ideation to the future planning to the visioning to here's what I think could happen if, all of that goes inside that journal. And then the third journal that I have, and this came from one of my sales coaches, although she didn't say journal, I adapted it because I love journaling, is I have a sales journal. And at the end of every single day, I have a reminder on my calendar that says reflect on your sales journal, your sales experience for that day. And inside my sales journal, I have very practical things like, wow, I had a really great discovery call and here's how I felt and here's what the client said, to I didn't prospect as much as I should have today. And here's why. And here's what I can do a little differently. Or today I wasn't feeling well, but I still managed to do 5 outreaches. And at the end of the week or end of the month or end of the quarter, I have a record of how much sale activity I actually did. And that helps to hold me accountable so I know what to do or what not to do or what I can continue doing better for that next week or month or quarter. And I think so often we miss big opportunities because we are moving so fast. We forget to reflect on what's happened and what we've did well in ways we can improve little by little and incrementally. And so I want to say, if you are struggling or if you're feeling overwhelmed by being in business, number one, I hear you and I see you, but don't let that feeling drive your decisions. I think we make really emotionally charged decisions when we feel like we have to make all the decisions. So pace yourself. Make exactly one decision based off the best information you have, and then make exactly one more decision, and one more, and one more, and one more. And that will help you solidify, anchor yourself, and remain consistent. And when in doubt, seek God. And I know that sounds really easy or cliche, but when in doubt, I go to the scripture, and there are so many that say, do not worry, do not fret, the Lord is with you. Confidently trust in the Lord to take care of you, right? In those moments where I start to feel overwhelmed, in those moments where you are starting to feel overwhelmed, ask yourself, how can I steady my ship? How can I pull back? And what do I need to focus on right now? Focus on him is the easiest thing we can do, yet it's usually the last thing we do. All right, that was an Ask Sybil. Again, if you've got a very specific business question you'd like for me to answer on air, definitely DM me on all the socials. Would love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in to Experience the Edge with Sybil today. Y'all, I've had such a fantastic time. I just want to say this in closing, because so often I miss the small parts. I don't know if this is you, but I miss the small parts of celebrating. I run a local Christian business women's community here in Durham, North Carolina. And one of the activities that I always challenge these ladies to do is to celebrate. because even in those moments where we don't feel like we've measured up, there's still a success there. And I'm my worst critic. I don't know about you, but I am the hardest on Sybil. Nobody can be harder on Sybil than Sybil. And yesterday, while I was talking with my partner, I said it out loud. I was like, I am not drinking my own Kool-Aid. I'm not following my own recipe for success. I'm not doing that thing that I tell all of my clients to do. Do the thing you tell your clients to do, y'all. Do that thing. That thing people are hiring you to do. Make sure you continue to do it yourself. And if you're telling your clients to pray and meditate, you should be praying and meditating. If you're like me and you tell your clients to celebrate the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, go do that. If you tell your clients to show up and budget, whatever that skill set is, your sellable skill set, make sure you're also doing it. We've got to lead by example, and because it comes easy to us, we have to remember to continuously put those things into practice so that they continue to be easy for us, so they continue to be second nature to us. So go out, have a great week, celebrate something significant or something small. Those small wins amount to big wins. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see y'all. Y'all will hear from me next week, same time, same place. Thank you for listening to Experience the Edge on WDRB. Don't forget to connect with me on all the socials at Sybil S. Stewart. That's SYBILSSTEWART. Till next time.
Take a ride in the sky on a ship and decide all your dreams.